Welcome, everyone. We are coming into you live for the RESNET 2021 conference from Mars, as you can see. We have our Retrotech man there by the Mars rover, and as you can see, there's a few things rotating there beside him. We've got 3 new sizes of grill mask tape, as you can see there, along with the Retrotech Reveal, which is our new smoke emitter that we're going to be rolling out later this year. It'll actually have Bluetooth connectivity built into it so that you can set it inside of a duct system and discharge it remotely, discharge it from high areas. There's a camera mount on the bottom of it so that you can put a telescopic pole onto it to get up in high, hard to reach areas, and charges with USB-C. And you can refill it yourself. It'll be at a lower price point than the one that we currently carry. So this will be the first handheld fog emitter made specifically for the building science industry. So keep your eyes and ears open for that one as we'll be rolling it out later this year. So you can see our trade show booth here over here. We'll move over from left to right. We've got a blower door set up here. And we actually offer 2 blower door models, the standard power Model 5000, and this one's actually our high output fan Model 6000. It's got its own variable speed drive, as you can see there on the floor. That helps give this fan some extra power for larger, leakier buildings that a standard blower door may not be able to handle. Installed here with the fan is our new smart cloth. If you haven't seen this yet, this actually has the outdoor reference tubing stitched into the cloth itself. So no more crawl of shame going through the hole to toss out a tube to the outside. You just plug it up to the cloth itself and it's ready to go. So quicker setup time, more stable readings. One of the benefits of having that tubing stitched in is that it's actually branched off in a couple of locations. So that really helps with wind dampening. So on those windy days, now you have a little bit more control over the baseline reading that you're going to get. And from the field testing that we've done with this, we've noticed that it really works its magic the best on the leeward side of the building. And that's available now, and it works with any brand of blower door. Another special thing, let's move over to the blower door one more time. Well, that's on the Model 5000. This is the 6000. If this were a 5000 fan, you'd be able to actually charge the gauge off the fan. As you see there, we have a charger cable built into the umbilical. That's what we call this here, with the tubing and the power cable, the data cable. And the other end would plug into the fan top. But the 6000 model fan is a little different. And let's talk about the frame. We've got one laid out on the floor over here. This frame is a little bit different because it has a feature that allows you to snap it apart in one motion. So you can leave it on the floor like that and then move one arm in one direction, one on the other, and it comes apart just like that. So we do that just to save you a little more time. Don't worry, you're not going to break it. It's designed to do that. Those corners hold up really well. And that way you don't have to sit there and try to unlatch each corner one by one. Just one move, boom, and it's done. So thanks for the demo there, guys. So first here on the table, if you've never seen this before, this is the Mk2 Flow Finder made by a company called ASIN that's a partner of ours. And this is the most accurate flow hood that's on the market. It's a low flow hood. This does just a few CFM up to 500 CFM. It does both exhaust and supply, so it'll measure in both directions. And this is what's referred to as a powered or active flow hood, meaning that it has its own calibrated fan and manometer built into it. So it kind of works off the same principles as a duct tester or a blower door. So most accurate flow hood on the market by far. And next, this is a fairly new product here. This is the Retrotech Flow Box that works with the DM32's whole flow function. But soon it'll actually be built into the manometer as an option to choose, just like the rest of our products. And this is actually 2 tools in one. So you see it has the same range plugs that our blower door uses. When they're all plugged up like this, it'll work as a pressure pan. That way you can use it to locate leaks while your blower door is running. And then when you take the holes out, it works as an exhaust fan flow meter. Whoopsie, knocked a gauge off. Things are getting crowded on the table. But yeah, when we use it as an exhaust fan flow meter, it's a little different than some of the ones you might be used to. And the fact that instead of just having one point to reference the box, we actually split this off and branch it off into all four corners, and then they're teed off at each corner. That way it just gives us a more reliable reading each time that's repeatable. And it doesn't matter which of the holes that we open up to give us the size that we need, depending on the flow of the fan that we're measuring. And when we're using it with the hole flow function on the DM32, we've got this nice handy chart here on side to show us what to enter into the gauge, depending on how many holes that we have to have open. So that's on our website. That's been available for almost a year now, I believe. So feel free to head over there and check it out. We've got a nice video on that too on our YouTube channel. And then here we have our Retrotech Duct Tester. This is the model 300X. Let's show them the other side of this. One special thing about this new shell is that it actually has a place for the gauge to stick to the fan. That way you don't have to have a manometer on the floor for somebody to kick or step on. That way your tools can get a little bit more life out of them and avoid some accidents there. But yeah, with the magnetic back of the gauge, it can actually just stick right there to the fan itself. And that way you don't have to worry about somebody stepping on it. Another special thing about this fan, if you're not used to the Retrotech products, is that instead of using an axial style fan blade like a blower door uses, this uses a impeller or a centrifugal blower. That way you don't need any kind of like styrofoam flow straightener to put in there to change direction. You hook up the fan to the gauge the exact same way each time, whether if you're going to pressurize or depressurize. There's nothing different about it. The only thing you have to do is just pop the flex off of one end, flip the fan around, and snap it back on. We've got this quick connect collar. So that way you don't even have to mess with any Velcro or anything. It literally just slides off the fan, flips around, slides on the other end, and you have an airtight connection there every time. Cool. So yeah, you can see that there. Slides on, boom, you're done. And you don't have to change anything else. No settings in the gauge, no tubing. That way you only have to memorize one gauge configuration there for the duct tester, and it's good to go. And we've got it set up to our duct tester or our duct system here. If you've been to the RESNET conference before over the past couple of years, you've probably seen this display set up. That way we can provide live demonstrations right there on the trade show floor. And so that way we can adjust leakage. We can use the flow finder to measure leakage and things like that. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a fun one to show. Some of you may not realize we actually do a whole lot with the commercial market too. And I'm mentioning this because I know a lot of folks that are RESNET certified are kind of getting into larger building tests and getting into some more complex building testing here. So what this is a commercial duct tester, but it's more than just that. Our customers are using this fan to measure leakage for windows and doors, curtain walls, things such as that, doing mock-up tests for different wall assemblies. It comes with a different DM32. They look identical, but there's actually different sensors in here because this fan can actually generate up to 20 inches of water column. Super high pressure fan. So you have to have different sensors in there to do that. But yeah, a lot of people that are RESNET certified are getting into some different tests. So like rain penetration tests are something that you can do with this fan. And if you look at similar fans that are out there, we have one on the floor here. That's what they look like. This style kind of came out in the 1950s and hasn't really changed since. So it's basically a large motor blower on a hand truck. So yeah, ours is actually portable. That way you can take it on the job sites a lot easier and don't have to have two people to move it up a flight of stairs. So if you're getting into that kind of testing, this fan is perfect for that. So this might be the newest thing that we have available that we're offering now. This is a new endoscope by Wooler. It's called the VE400. And the really cool thing about this endoscope is it actually has 2 cameras on the end. So if you get into a tight spot and you need to make a 90-degree turn, you can actually go from looking forward to a camera that faces out the side 90 degrees. So that way you don't have to worry about any kind of corners or getting it stuck somewhere. You can look all the way around where the end of that scope is. It has a nice high resolution screen. Both cameras are HD. So as you can see there, this thing works great. So if you're trying to dive into a house to look and see if there might be some mold growth or something on the back of some drywall or something like that, where you make a small hole to put something in, this is the best camera to use because you can really see all around of what's happening and get a good photo. One thing that we like to mention too is if you're not a big fan of the frame and canvas and how long it takes to put it together, you don't have to use that. We actually have a hard panel that'll fit pretty much any doorway that's rectangular. And basically what this works or how this works is we have one panel that slides in both directions, both left to right and up and down. And then the other 2, one holds the fan and the other one just takes up space. This panel is just a slight bit leakier than the frame and canvas. So if you're going for passive house, this may not be the best option to use, but if you're just doing, tests for code and stuff like that, this will work great. It kind of simulates just a standard, somewhat leaky doorway. But the thing about this panel is we think it looks great. Not only that, it sets up really, really fast. You don't have to take a canvas and spread it out across the floor or anything like that. It literally just sets up tall in the doorway. Usually in about half the time that it takes to set up a frame and canvas. So you have options. So feel free, if you're interested in the different options for creating a door panel, reach out to us. And if you haven't seen our flange that comes with our duct tester, we have one set up here so that you can really see how it works. It's clear, and it has 2 hooks. So if you have a return in the ceiling, you don't have to fight gravity to try to hold up the flange with one hand and then try to tape with another. Really, you can just hook it in there, then get your tape and put it up there without the frustration. And we made it clear so that you can see what those hooks are doing to make sure it gets clipped in there really well. And I think that pretty much does it for our line of products that we have. That's kind of the latest and greatest that's being offered in the building science and HVAC industries right now. My name's Sam Myers. I'm a building scientist for Retrotech. And so if you've seen any of our videos, if you've seen any of the presentations that we've had at RESNET, then you've probably seen me. This is the virtual training center that I've put together here. That way I can do live webinars, training videos, and things like that, where I can really avoid the slideshows and actually show how the equipment works. So visit our YouTube channel. We've got a couple of videos there already where we kind of walk through some different testing processes, and there'll be some more coming as well, where we'll be using some of our apps that we have. So for example, right here on this iPad I have with me is Gauge Remote. That way you can control your gauge using the Wi-Fi connectivity feature. That way, if you're testing ducts, you can have your duct tester below. And if you're up in an attic looking for leaks, you don't have to keep running down and adjusting the fan speed. You can just control it right from where you are. Same for being down in the crawl space. And then, of course, we also have our cloud, which has the RESNET 380 standards option built right into it. That way you can do your multi-point blower door tests from your tablet or from your phone, and it does all the math for you automatically. That way you don't have to take that 10% penalty from doing a single point test. So all the prompts are in there on the app. You just follow what it says. It geolocates where you are, does all the calculations for you for your elevation and for your temperature outside. So it pulls local weather data for you. You don't have to enter any of that in. So our cloud is still free to use. If you have a DM32 gauge, give it a download, give it a shot. If you have any questions, reach out to us at support@retrotech.com. If you have questions about any of our products, reach out to us at sales@retrotech.com. And we appreciate you watching and seeing the latest and greatest from what we have to offer. So thank you all so much, and we hope you enjoy the conference this year.